All right, last but not least, we're wrapping it up. You've made it all the way to part 3 of our training. Thank you for sitting through it. I know it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. And we really appreciate you understanding our heart for the kids and ways that you can keep them safe. At Oasis, we do have a consequence structure, and the goal of this is to make it easy for you to know what to do when a child is acting up. Say little Johnny keeps throwing cars in the classroom. The first step you're gonna do is a verbal correction. Hey Johnny, we're gonna roll the cars on the floor. Can you show me rolling cars on the floor? Awesome job, Johnny. The second, if Johnny throws that car again, it's a verbal warning and a reminder of the next consequence. Johnny, we do not throw cars in this classroom. We roll them. If you continue to throw the cars, you will need to sit down for a few minutes on your own. All right, if they throw the cars another time, Johnny, I'm gonna have you sit here without the car for 1 minute or 2 minutes. A good rule is however old the child is, that's how long they sit in timeout. For your older kids, the average is gonna be like 2 to 3 minutes, just enough for them to be like, oh, I got in trouble. But the timeout gives them a chance to like disconnect from what they were doing before and reset. Sometimes if I have a child that's very upset, I'll be like, I need you to sit here for 2 minutes. It's gonna give you a chance to calm down and think about what we're doing here. Lastly, if the child continues to throw the car after timeout, you're gonna contact the ministry coordinator and or the parent and let them know, this is what we did. We reminded Johnny 4 times not to throw cars and it wasn't safe in the classroom. If you could also have a conversation with him at home, we'd really appreciate your help. It lets the parent know this wasn't a one-time activity that their child just did once and it was an accident, that there was a consequence structure in place. Parents sometimes are going to be coming to us with kids that are hard to deal with at home, and we want to make it easier for them. We want to help them with their child. We want them to feel like they are loved. So whenever you're talking to a parent about their child, just keep that in mind, that we don't know what they're going through and we want them to feel loved through the whole process. All right, timeout procedure. You're gonna move the child to the timeout chair. You're gonna clearly tell them how much time they're gonna be in the chair and then tell them why. You have to sit in this chair for 2 minutes because you chose to throw a car at my friends, and that is very dangerous. I'm talking at about a preschool level right here. You're gonna age that up or down depending on your kids. Nursery kids are not gonna almost ever do timeout. They just don't understand the concept. This is for 3 and up. All right, you're gonna explain while they're in their chair, then you're gonna set the timer. I highly recommend you to show the child the timer so they know there is a countdown happening. After that, you're going to come back to them when the timer's up and be like, Johnny, thank you so much for sitting in this chair. I hope that we're gonna go and play so nicely with our car. Do you think you can do that, Johnny? Awesome. You can also offer to pray with Johnny and let him know that you forgive him and that you love him. All right, incident reports. There are times when children get hurt. I know, they're just usually so coordinated, not clumsy at all. But when those things happen, when a child gets hurt, we want you to fill out an incident report. In almost every classroom, you'll see a sheet of paper that says, mistakes happen, and it's okay, just let us know. Something to that effect. There's a QR code on that piece of paper. Accidents happen, I think that's what it says. Accidents happen. So go to that QR code. If you do not have a cell phone because maybe you're a middle schooler and your parents just said no, not yet, then ask the safety team on channel 3 to come and help you fill out that incident report. You're gonna scan the QR code, fill out the questions on the form. They're fairly simple. We wanna make sure that if a child gets visibly hurt or if they fall and you think it could have caused bruising or other injuries, just report it. Let the parents know. If it is behavior that was dangerous to another child, please report that as well on the incident reports. One thing we want you to make sure is you're filling out 1 incident report per child. If you have 2 children involved in an argument and the argument gets heated, we had a child like throat punch another child once. It only happened once. In those cases, you're gonna write an incident report for both children, but you're not going to name both children on the reports. So Johnny's report only talks about Johnny. and Billy's report only talks about Billy. All right, I hope that makes sense. Let parents know they'll be getting an email with that incident report by the end of the day. All right, emergency procedures. Emergencies happen. Sometimes things happen, and we want to make sure that you know what to do in the case of an emergency. In the case of an emergency, you may be asked to go to our emergency channel, which is the safety team channel, channel 3. If you see a fire or feel that you are at risk in any way, tornado, fire, anything, know where your exits are and get your kids out of the building as quickly as possible. Building B is a temporary building. It's like a pod at school. So this building is not safe to be in the case of a fire. So if you hear an alarm go off, get the kids out as quickly as possible. All right, the important channels to know on your walkie-talkies are channel 1, that is our pickup channel. So at the end of service, you want to be on channel 1 so that you know when the kids are to go to their parents. Channel 2 is our nursery channel. Channel 3 is our safety team channel. Channel 4 is our Oasis Junior and Clubhouse channel. And channel 5 is the coordinators. The main ones you need to remember if you're in the kids building is channel 1 for pickup and channel 5 for coordinators. And then lastly, channel 3 for safety team if you need medical attention. If you need to contact to a parent, go to channel 3 and ask the safety team to contact the child's parent. You're going to need to tell them the code on the name tag. If you have a first aid or medical emergency, we do have first aid boxes in every building. Find those first aid boxes while you're shadowing. You can also contact channel 3 safety team. They have a great big first aid kit that can help in case of most injuries. If you feel that a child's life is at risk, please do not hesitate to call 911. If you're not certain if a child's life is at risk or if a child is injured more than you feel like you can easily deal with, do not hesitate to call the safety team on channel 3. We usually have at least one EMT present on all Sundays. All right, fire exit plan. In the event of fire, please remain calm. The kids are going to pick up cues for you. They're going to know that something is wrong. We do not want them to panic because we don't want any children to get left behind. The most important thing you can do during a fire is know how many kids are in your group and that you have that same number of kids outside in a safe area. You're going to switch to channel 3 once you and your children are safe so you can hear any safety updates from the safety team. Sick children. We do have a sick child policy. If you see a child is visibly unwell when they're coming into your space, say they're coughing and have a fever, if you notice pink eye, our child care policy is children with colored discharge, diarrhea, fever, contagious rashes, major signs of illness. You're going to ask the parent to have that child stay with them for that period of class. Keep in mind that some children may have non-contagious rashes or sicknesses. So talk to the parent and figure out what's going on in every situation. We don't want to jump on them and then be wrong and they feel very sad. If a child becomes ill in your classroom or gets a fever, please contact safety team so we can get a hold of the parents. The rule with throw up is usually they have to throw up twice before we contact the parents. Sometimes kids just get an upset stomach because they ate too much sugar or they were spinning around on the playground. So use your best judgment. If they have any secondary symptoms with the vomit, then please contact their parents ASAP. All right, so this is required. This is the last thing. This is the grand finale, and then you're done. You're free. You can go and serve in kids ministry and have fun with us all day long. This is required for all servant leaders working with kids ages 3 and up. It's called our Oasis Church Servant Leader Honor Code. And it says this: as a servant leader at Oasis Church, your relationship with God must be tangible to the people around you. People will be looking to you for guidance and support. Servant leaders recognize this and pledge to accept the responsibility of developing and exhibiting Christian character. As a Christian, people make perceptions about Christ through your actions. And as a servant leader, adults and children will look up to you in both attire and behavior. You pledge to strive to demonstrate biblical standards in all situations. Our conduct should never be an embarrassment to Christ, but should exemplify the best qualities of a mature believer and servant leader. Oasis servant leaders also committed to the disciplined life of Bible reading, prayer, and fasting. Our lives are dedicated to following after God. By signing the honor code, you are committing to avoiding anything which might cause Christ to grieve and others to stumble. Some of those things include, and this is not like exclusive, you and the Holy Spirit are going to know the things in your life that are honoring God and the things that are not honoring God, but these ones are absolutes for us. You will say things that are life-giving, avoid profanity, gossip, negative social media presence, and lying. The behaviors I practice are going to exemplify Christ. We're going to avoid smoking or chewing tobacco when serving. We're going to avoid having an addiction to gambling, indulging in a lot of wine or alcoholic beverages. Keyword is a lot there. We don't want to have dishonest gain or illegal drugs or pornography. The lifestyle I live should demonstrate Christ. We're going to avoid cohabitation. If you're not married, you should not be living with the opposite gender. You can talk to me if you have any confusion or questions on that one. You also are not openly homosexual, and okay, that's enough said on that. But just as much, sexual immorality is just as much of an issue. So please come and talk to us if you have any questions or concerns about these things. This lifestyle is an extension of your relationship with God. Your example will encourage others to grow in Christ and become servant leaders themselves. We do this because we love Christ, and by signing below, we're pledging that this is an essential part of our development, not as an imposition or restriction. Again, this is for any leaders working with children 3 and up. We want to make sure that you are at a spiritual level that you are able to help our youngest believers to grow. If you're not ready yet to commit to serving Christ 100% or fully, we still have places for you here in the family of God. We have spots for you to serve, but for those who are ready to be an example and to shine a light in the lives of children, we would love for you to sign that digitally. Just click on the link and it will take you to a form that repeats our honor code. You can scroll right to the bottom that you've read it and that you understand it. Thank you for joining the Oasis Kids team. I can't wait to see you and meet you and have you shadow. It's going to be quite the experience, and we have lots of fun, and so much comes out of serving kids. It is our future as believers. Children are so much fun. The way they view God and faith is beautiful, and I learn things every day from kids. So thank you for joining the team, and I hope you got it all. Take the quiz at the end to make sure that you comprehended all the material. Have a great day.